And we thank you again for coming to visit us not long ago.
Thank you.
In
for
case you
having
forget
me.
where it was,
Right.
I'm going down. Well, I don't know if that exactly. Maybe you can hold that up for a second, Gene, while I pass these around. As you discovered from your visit, there is this little place over the mountains before you get to the big ones that's been hiding, and I believe has come to the point where both in its growth and its potential and its actual performance justifies being considered as a subject of a grant. It has been in the program since the 80s, was actively with ITC for a number of years, but what's happened is it's grown exponentially, and I think that I don't need to repeat what you learned while you were over visiting us, but that it is now a destination of some magnitude. It's worthy of branding by itself, by virtue of the potential that it's got to bring tourism to the state. And so therefore, we have tried to stay up with the speed of the attack over there. And again, I haven't dealt with the degree of specificity on magazines and ads and things that we will before we come back to the fire. What I wanted to do today was a concept. We basically, because everything is growing and we're small and compact enough, and we're basically saying to ourselves, to market Teton Valley ought to be a co-op with you. And we're asking all of the people that are involved in events to pool them in one place. And so basically what we're saying when we talk about event advertising, we're talking about all of the people that are running events that want to be, have an element of support from ITC, come into the pool and pay into the pool cash to be in it and to make it bigger and stronger. So what we're seeing is an attempt to use you as the starter funds. And when you get to the bottom of this, with perhaps the exception of the internet, which is a little bit harder to deal everybody into, we're saying that we want the community to come up with 100% match for what you do. So when we get, we're trying to build something here that allows us enough money to do a lot of things. And we're, again, hopefully doing it in a way that makes it a good deal for you. So let's take it quickly. First one we talk about is media advertising of events and attractions. This is a specific place or a specific event we're trying to get somebody to come see, as opposed to the generic advertising or the branding of Teton Valley, which is item number 2. And in this one, the reason why it's increased in number is really 3 things. We get, like somebody list rattled off, and we have 87 new events coming this year. Well, that's part of what's happening with us. So part of the advertising for this pool is that there are more events coming on a consistent basis. Number 2, there is an enormous amount of construction going on what will be attractions. I mentioned a couple of them at the bottom, but we expect we'll get another $60,000, $80,000 from transportation this year to do scenic byway sites. We're embark probably tomorrow on something that will be $1 million to $2 or $3 million visitor center, museum, public plaza complex in the center of the valley in Driggs. So there's an enormous amount of stuff going on that's increasing the size of the pie and things to look at. The other major addition in here for the year is we've included Grand Targhee. We had this conversation, and Susie came and talked to you at your meeting. I think we're satisfied now, and we understand that you are, that even though they're principally located in Wyoming, they are investing enough in Teton Valley in lodging units. They just acquired a 140 unit property management company last week to add to the puzzle. They're building another motel. They're managing all sorts of things down in the valley. So the conclusion that we've come to is they are now part of us sufficiently to justify us talking about them. And they also have agreed to join this pool of advertising. So they will bring their expertise on where they advertise and why, what the demographic audience is, and they will put cash into it, just like everybody else if we're advertising their events. So the event category, as I say, is bigger for 3 or 4 reasons, but we think it's still modest. The idea is, I did a 1/3 match in these numbers. We would hope that it would grow beyond that. But in as much as this is the first time we've tried this, where we're saying, okay, everybody that's in here, we're going to get a seed from ITC, and that's going to encourage you to join this pool, but you've got to put your own money in it too. Number 2, it's much the same kind of deal. This relates more to the branding of the place as an ultimate destination. It's not so much event specific. Again, we see things like the Madden program that we just did with the state in the summer supplement as the kind of thing that we're talking about here. It's more the co-op, state co-op programs. It's more talking about why Eastern Idaho is a great place, and Teton Valley in particular. In this, we would expect, again, to be seeking co-op partners in Fremont County, Eastern Bonneville County, particularly because they have the same recreational profile we do. I was happy to hear Grant talk about the idea of co-oping with Ioga. I think we should also do it with the RVs. I mean, we ought to be finding everybody that's got that same profile in the brand and tagging them together, and hopefully by the time we come back to you, we'll have some specific ones in here. We have always relied on, well, I'll come back to YPT and the trade shows. I guess that's really enough to say about that unless you've got questions about it, but the idea is that I've separated events from branding of the area because I think they're distinctly different. I think it is true, though, that if we're trying this match business to the extent that we're trying, we're going to find that we have a fruitful audience in the developer, the Teton Springs, the River Rim, the Reserve, those kinds of guys. For branding Teton Huntsman has already agreed to join in and do this. So that we expect that we, in fact, can come up with a either 2/3 to 100% match on branding kinds of advertising. And that's what will give us the opportunity to have enough money to make a dent. You know, we're talking about a total budget of $50,000 for that, but if you take them out $10,000 at the time for the Maddens of this world, that doesn't get you very far. Website development, again, we've, like everybody else, you've heard the speech from everybody. We still believe it is the fastest and most important part of this whole puzzle. I should back up for a minute, though, and tell you, because I know that Pat had a question about an amendment we put in. First thing we wanted to do when we joined up with Madden was we wanted to be able to download the book directly off the website. And so, because we had raised more money against our book than we had anticipated and had some left over in the 06 grant. And because we had a map project that wasn't moving very fast, and we came to the conclusion it could be completely self-funded without using any of your money, we applied for an amendment to shift those 2 residual amounts to the website account in closing out 06.